Hello everyone, Vivichim here, and I've decided to try something new today. I recently saw the new movie adaptation of Stephen King's horror novel It, directed by Andy Muschietti, and I thought to myself, why not give my thoughts on it? I'll be trying to avoid spoilers for this review. I myself never really cared about spoilers, mostly because I'm so far behind on most forms of entertainment, movies especially. I do know that I'm in the minority with that way of thinking though, and I respect that people don't want them. With that being said though, let's get right into it. It takes place in the town of Derry, Maine, where a string of disappearances is occurring, with all of the victims being children. The movie follows a group of local kids dubbed as the Losers Club. Throughout the summer of 1989, the Losers Club discover that the disappearances aren't simply a coincidence, and are linked to the mysterious Pennywise the Dancing Clown, an entity of evil that comes around once every 27 years to feed on the children of Derry, using their innermost fears. The acting in this movie is just really good across the board. The child actors playing the members of the Losers Club are especially a treat to watch. You really believe that these are scared kids going up against something that they can't even begin to comprehend. The balance between the characters and their screen time is really well executed. None of the losers really feel like they're an afterthought in this movie. All are given their time to shine in some way or another. The closest I will say to being an afterthought though is Wyatt Oleff, who plays Stanley in the movie. He has his scenes like everyone else, but he just seemed to be that little bit behind the other six in terms of importance. I think Oleff did a good job with what he had, but his star shined a little less bright, but that's still nothing to be ashamed of. There is 4 actors who I think deserve special recognition out of the Losers Club, and that is Jaden Lieberher, Sophia Lillis, Finn Wolfhard, and Jack Dylan Grazer as Bill, Beverly, Richie, and Eddie respectively. Playing the leader of the Losers, Lieberher as Bill has his clear motivation throughout the entire film, gripping viewers with his speeches to the club, filled with emotion, and as a character, I can personally relate with him a lot. I would love to get into why I can relate to him a lot, but that is potential spoiler territory, and I can't be risking that now, can I? Wolfhard is the joker of the group, making quite frankly hilarious jokes, comebacks, and puns even if they aren't always appropriate, which honestly adds to the humour. Seriously though, Wolfhard had me laughing out loud at some points, and for me, every single joke landed right on the money. His banter with Grazer's Eddie is one of the movie's finest elements in my opinion. Speaking of which, Grazer plays the nerdy germaphobe as Eddie, and good lord, does he nail this character. All through the movie, he goes on about his potential health hazards and statistical probabilities about getting diseases and dying, and it's just hilarious to watch. I don't even know if it's meant to be funny, but the way he just stands out because all of his concerns and his fixation on cleanliness when the others just couldn't give a crap is amazing. His humour aside though, we also get to see the full display of Grazer when it comes to the scares. You genuinely believe that this kid is gonna die from fright. He's that convincing to watch. Last up, out of my Loser Club spotlight, we have Sophia Lillis as Beverly March. I honestly think that Lillis shines brighter than anyone in this movie. Her performance as the quite frankly traumatized Bev is just astonishingly good. Like, it's next level. She goes through some shit in this movie and you feel every single second of it. The duality of her character is incredible, the intelligent badass of the group, the joy she has when she's with them, and the broken fear, frustration, and inner loathing is truly breathtaking. You feel everything Lillis takes you through as Bev. There is 3 scenes where I think this is shown best. Now I won't go into them in detail as not to spoil them for people who haven't seen the film yet, but I will simply refer to them as Sync 1, Sync 2, and her feel-good moment. To those who know very little about it or have yet to see the movie, hopefully that doesn't spoil anything for you. And for those who have seen the movie or are familiar with Stephen King's It, I hope you kind of understand what I mean. I know the last one especially can be interpreted rather vaguely, but I hope you're on my wavelength here. Of course, we aren't all here to talk about the kids. No. As great as they all are, people want to know something. How good is Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Dancing Clown? Oh my god, he is something else. Skarsgård is one creepy-ass Pennywise, let me tell you that now. Everything from the way he moves to the way he speaks just made me feel uneasy. Even the way he smiles and the way his eyes move is scary to see. I'm a guy who's good with horror, especially movies. I can normally just have a good time watching a horror movie and I won't get scared or even that creeped out, but holy shit. For the best feel about how effective Skarsgård is, I recommend watching the 1990 miniseries with Tim Curry as the titular clown. Both are great performances in their own right, but the presence that Skarsgård has on screen is just he's just on his own level. Pennywise wasn't a perfect clown though. The CGI used does leave a little to be desired, but considering Pennywise is some kind of interdimensional being that devours children feeding off their fear, it's hard to imagine that CGI could effectively convey that mystique. It would have been interesting to see some of the CGI done as practical effects, but overall I don't really think it takes away from the movie that much. It's most notable at the beginning of the movie, when Pennywise claims his first victim, but other than that it just adds to the super creepy ambience surrounding the killer clown. Speaking of the ambience, this is one tense movie and I loved it. The atmosphere is constantly being used just right. It has its down moments, mostly when the losers are talking, but oh my god, it's awesome to have a horror movie really suck you into the world portrayed on screen. Each scene where Pennywise is up to no good is shot amazingly, and the score that accompanies these shots is what I believe makes this film so damn good at what it's trying to do. Composer Benjamin Wallfisch kept me at just the right level of uncomfortable, so the director of photography Chung Hoon Chung could work his magic in making Pennywise the dancing clown the stuff of nightmares. On an unrelated note, I felt like there's one shot in this movie which I needed to point out. A bird's eye shot of Jeremy Ray Taylor's Ben running through a river. I saw this shot and I just thought it looked beautiful, and it really captured a sense of home and childhood for me personally, as someone who grew up in a fairly small town by a river. To bring us back down from that high though, we have to talk about the jump scares in the movie. It's a modern horror, so it has to have them. I personally didn't find hardly any of them to be that effective. Only one of them I would say really made me jump. This movie is surprisingly rated 15 here in the UK. Now we are a bit more lenient when it comes to our film ratings here, as it actually has an R rating in the States. If you are a fan of horror, I highly recommend going to see this film. Whether it be for the way the film is crafted or nothing more than the scares, I think you'll have a grand old time watching the 2 hour 15 minutes fly on by as you're mesmerised by the showcase of talent and creativity presented before you. Though, I don't recommend taking a friend who isn't a fan of clowns. It really is a film that just sucked me in from the moment it kicked off. The horror mixed with the moments of effective drama and comedy truly creates for an experience you can watch without feeling yourself go numb or turn passive. I was constantly engaged and found myself just having fun watching a movie, something which really doesn't happen all too often for me these days. I give it 2017 4 red balloons out of 5. And
oh yes, they float, Georgie. They float.
Thank you for tuning into this review of It. I never really planned to do movie reviews on this channel, as I'm more familiar with the world of gaming, as you can probably tell. It's rare that I actually go to see movies in the cinema, so I thought this made for a nice little change. Did you like it? Would you be interested in seeing more movie-based content? Please let me know by either commenting your thoughts down below or tweeting me on my Twitter at VividChim. While you are here, it might be worth checking out my gaming reviews. I sit down and play a game each week. Often these games are terrible, and it just makes for a bit of fun. As always, I've been VividChim, and I'll see you soon.